Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 3-0 Take, where we talk all things Major League Baseball. Here's Kyle Corwin and Nate Reyes. It all starts right now.
Oh, welcome back to the 3-0 Take presented by SeatGeek. This is episode 498. Hey-o, I'll be your host, Kyle Corwin. I'm here with my co-host, Nate Reyes. Nate.
Kyle,
Sir.
listeners, mom, dad, I'm out on something and I need it to be known. I think I might be the first one in this camp. Might be the only one in this camp. I'm all done with the press conferences.
I'm out on the Zoom press conferences.
I'm so done.
What are we doing? What is this? Like, are we finding
contract?
Are we finding out that like a 2-star prospect is committing to like a D3 school? Like, this is the big leagues. Come on,
over it. It's every freaking free agent. Every one of them. Like, what are we? This is for who? What is this for? The ridiculous awkwardness of like the 30 seconds of silence while they put on a jersey. They work the bill to get a hat on. The manager is just standing there awkwardly. The agent sitting in the first. It's like, what is this? What is this for?
We're on two completely different pages. I thought you were saying you were done with the Zoom press conferences. You're just saying you're done with the press conferences altogether.
I don't want the new signing to do that. Like, it's lost its luster. It's like a first pitch. All the first pitches. Not every game has to have a first pitch. Some games are first pitch worthy, some aren't. Some people throwing out that first pitch are first pitch worthy, and some aren't. I'm just done with here's our new toy. Everybody come and ask him freaking softball questions. And let this aforementioned player act like he's been a fan of this team since he was 3.
Yeah.
Every freaking time.
We didn't get a chance to talk about it, but the whole Soto presser, asking him like, "Hey, like, what was the reason you decided to come to the Mets?" As if it wasn't.
I don't know, $1 billion. I mean, that's why I'm here.
Like the softball questions that these guys are getting asked in these pressers are, I mean, they're an insult to softball questions. These aren't even. I don't even know what these
journalism, man. Like, what are they doing?
I don't know what this has become. No, but I'm whatever about regular press conferences. I mean, I'm still on board with them, but it's these Zoom press conferences. Like, get them on a plane. Get him to your ballpark, get him in your media room, and put on an actual press conference. Enough of the Zoom press conferences. That's all I got to say on that matter.
Sucks. Just stupid. Also, this Soto thing has gotten weirder day by day, by the way. The amount of crap that's around the signing, I'm starting to back away. And this isn't like Yankee fan just being a hater. I'm like, the amount of stuff that's been added on that we're just hearing about.
Yeah, that whole like clothing allowance thing for his mom, like just.
You mean the $800 million wouldn't cover that?
That's what I'm saying.
Can't fall under that umbrella. You gotta have your own suite.
Yeah, the suite thing didn't make any sense either. I'm like, you tell me you can't cover a suite for yourself with basically $1 billion. Anyway, we're not here to talk about Soto. We're here to talk about Cody Bellinger being traded to the New York Yankees via trade. Traded to the Yankees via trade. Yeah,
there it is.
That's definitely.
There's our host coming up on whopping 500 episodes.
That's what I said. It's one of those days. I'm getting burnt out. Not gonna lie. No, not with the podcast. With just the busyness of everything going on right now. Speaking of which, that's a great moment to
pause
to pump the 3-0 changeup we just dropped earlier this evening. Hopped on, did a little 3-0 changeup, little bonus pod. If you're unfamiliar, a little bit of as I mentioned, bonus pod where we talk about things unrelated to baseball for a change. So we got on there, talked about some rather interesting Christmas topics, some controversial. I think we may have hit some nerves with some takes we had on there. So definitely go check that one out. I think so. I'm sure I upset some people with some things I said, particularly about the Christmas or about the music.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I rubbed some people the wrong way there. So definitely check that out. I dropped it this week as opposed to next week to give you guys, if you're all traveling, give you a little bit of extra content to take with you on the road or in the air, however you're getting to where you're going. Cody Bellinger, talk to me about it. How do we feel?
Oh, this is one of those rare trade proposals that you hear about for months that you think, well, everyone's predicting it, so there's no way it's going to happen. And it actually did happen. Look, I mean, nice move. I can't sit here and act like this is monumental. I think there are a lot of Yankee fans that are very excited, maybe a little overly excited on the move. I'm excited for other reasons. I'm not going to fall in love with the Cody Bellinger name. You and I have gone into it. Well, we just went into it last episode about, he's not an MVP anymore. Like I don't see him nearing those numbers at any point.
2019 NL MVP, Cody Bellinger.
Yeah. I'm not expecting any of that. And I think any Yankee fan that is naive. Here's what I do like. Here's what I do like is the versatility that he comes with. He's going to play above average defense in left, center, and first base. That's a very rare thing. And when you look at, the world champions and you look at other really good teams in baseball, a lot of them have guys that can float around and do different things. And I like what he brings to the table. Specifically defensively. And I was kind of surprised offensively. Like it's been decent the last few years. I do like that he's played 130 games the last 2 years. So durability is there. A 139 OPS plus in 2023, 111 OPS plus last year. It's nice. It's nice. I think I appreciate what it opens up for the rest of free agency and or trade market. Bob Nightingale put his foot in his mouth again, per usual, and immediately after the trade coming out and saying he's going to be playing center field, and then the whole Yankee organization's like, no, we actually never said that. So that was never a conversation. I don't know why Bob Nightingale just randomly throws out things with probably no source.
With gusto.
Yeah, I just don't understand that guy. But yeah, I mean, it gives them the versatility right now in this moment to where the Yankees can say, okay, well, how do we feel about the first base market? You know, do we go get, Pete Alonso? Do we go get Christian Walker? Do we trade for a Paul Goldschmidt? Do we trade for a Yandy Diaz? It opens up some things there. If none of those happen and the market opens up something at center field or left field, now you can kind of slide Cody Bellinger into that other spot. So there's a lot going on that I like about it. And it's tough, man. There's really not like any other, they needed a lefty. That lineup needed a lefty, and there's no one really else in that market that kind of checks some of those boxes. So this was something that the whole baseball world knew needed to happen, and it happened.
Did you know his dad played for the Yankees?
I told you that was incoming when we were texting. Yeah.
In case you didn't see that in one of the 1,000 times. Did you also know he played in the Little League World Series?
I did know that. Yep. Gino Page went to high school with him?
I did not know that.
It's pretty wild. Yeah. Went to high school in Hamilton, right down the street.
Did you know that what was that nugget that they always told us about around the All-Star game? Todd Frazier and Derek Jeter. What was that one about?
Oh. Todd Frazier went out for like a national anthem and stood at shortstop with Jeter.
Yeah, did you know that too?
Crazy.
See, I'm trying to think of other trivia that has been shoved down our throats over the years.
Yeah.
No, but this, this trade, like you said, it's one that everyone predicted would happen, and it was to the point where you just think there's just no way it happens. But then, sure enough, it happens. And then you text me. I literally just rolled my eyes right now, and I'm going. I can already see how the conversation around this move is going to just become so unhinged with the Soto comparison. Like, oh, you let Soto walk out the door and this is who you bring. It's like, no, it's more, I mean, sure. Like if you want to look at it, tit for tat, whatever. But if you have any understanding of how the financial side of this thing works, look at what they would have had to have paid Soto.
Yeah.
And then look at the 3 additions they've made.
With still potentially more to come.
And I'm not sitting here, I'm not trying to like stroke the Yankees by any stretch, but it's just like, would you rather have one of Juan Soto or have 3 pieces that can plug pretty glaring holes?
Yeah.
Scattered or sort of littered throughout your roster. Yeah. And I know certain people will say, I'll take one of Juan Soto and make it work elsewhere. Just, fill the lineup with scraps if that's what it takes. But then there's some people who says, no, like if the asking price gets too high for a guy like Juan Soto, let him walk. And then and that's what we talked about. That's what we were talking about this before the Soto deal actually went down. It was specifically through the lens of your Yankees, where it's like, all right, if the Yankees are rumored to be one of the top 2 finalists and they somehow miss out on him, let him walk out the door, let's look at some pieces that the Yankees then could bring back.
Yep.
Or not bring back, but add on in response to that. And I think I almost sort of talked you into that scenario playing out. I think you're more in favor of that than not. Granted,
Yeah,
I think
I mean,
maybe the pieces that you would have signed possibly would have been a little or acquired would have
Yeah.
been different than the ones you got, but I feel like you got to be happy knowing that there's still potentially additions to be made given the flexibility that you still have.
Yep. They need a second baseman or a third baseman. And Cashman's due for a 2-for-1 deal. And I mentioned it in last episode that I really thought Nico Horner was going to be included in this deal because, again, they need a second baseman or a third baseman. And Cashman loves to be able to do this and solve this at the same time. I.e., they needed outfield depth and asked for Trent Grisham in the trade with Juan Soto. So, like, he does that a lot. And normally it's like an under the radar name attached to the prize name. I don't know if I loved the defense side of things, but like I feel like Yandy Diaz and Brandon Lau potentially together in a deal would make a ton of sense. Not that I'm totally in love with that, but I could see that happening. But overall, like, yeah, this needed to happen. Look, like if you bring back Soto, you're looking at the same team that is you're going to run back the same team that got embarrassed against the Dodgers in the World Series. Like, no, like you got to make additions. You got to change some stuff. And I have a lot of question marks around the offseason. Normally, I think if you guys have been listening to me for a while, you realize that I'm fairly critical of my own team, and I'm fairly real on, navigating through some of the BS that you can hear from that organization. And overall, like I'm kind of proud of the way they're looking at this market and not forcing things. They're realizing what the market is, what's being available out there, and they're just going with it. And there's a very real chance that instead of trying to replace 40 home runs in Juan Soto, it's let's turn that into, a really good defensive team, a really flexible, solid defensive team who's going to hit a little bit. We'll figure that out and pitch really well. And that's pretty refreshing. So it's cool to see that there's a lot still open. There's a lot of doors. They haven't pushed themselves in a corner. There's a lot more that they can do around this deal. So it's going to be interesting. On the Cubs side of things, I did want to mention, I mean, they get Cody Petit, who's kind of been like a quad A guy. I'm assuming he may step into the rotation for them. I'm not sure. And then obviously just like a big financial dump for the Chicago Cubs. I think they kicked in $2.5 million for this year, $2.5 million for next year. So a little bit of money, but it frees up like, over $20 million. So I feel like the Corbin Burns conversation in Chicago has to potentially come back to the table now that they dumped this money. You didn't trade for Kyle Tucker for a year to not somewhat go for it. The familiarity with Craig Counsell, I could really see Corbin Burns in Chicago now that this money is freed up. Just saying.
I like that a lot.
Yeah. Right?
I really like that.
Little redemption tour back to the division.
Honestly, I'm happy for the Cubs for getting out from this situation. I just was not
The situation they put themselves in, by the way.
Sure. But it's the Cody Bellinger situation, or the career arc, we'll call it, just has not panned out the way I would have hoped for him. Like there was a season or two where I'm not going to say I predicted, but like I was strongly feeling a sort of a renaissance season, if you will, for him. And that was the year that ultimately got him the money that he was ultimately looking for. But it just seemed too obvious that any sort of length, any sort of excessive amount of money just was not going to play out well. And you can tell that the Cubs have been trying to get out of this from the jump, essentially.
It's very odd.
I guess the Yankees don't mind handling what's left of it, because I think the Cubs are sending over $5 million?
Yeah, 2.5 each year.
Yeah. So I mean, that's whatever. But
I think this is kind of a win-win. The Cubs got rid of some money and out of a situation they didn't seem to be really, really fond of. And I think the Yankees got boxes checked. I really do. I'm not going to sit here and say I'm in love with it. And I'm not going to sit here and say that I think he should be the 3-hole the whole year. I'd like for them to go get another bat. But again, you're kind of forcing the issue. You need a lefty to split up Judge and Stanton, and name somebody out there that they need. Is there a point in getting a Santander and putting him in right field and having Judge play left and learn left again? Or do you have Judge in center for the foreseeable future and have Jason Dominguez in left? I can't see anything else. And so that's why it feels like they're just turning this other direction and doing something. And they still have prospects to hold on to. And I do think they're still going to dump money. I think Stroman's gone. That needs to happen.
You want to talk about a career arc? My goodness, What has happened there?
Stroman's got to go, and that frees up some money too. So there's still more to be done. And this is one of the first times in my life where I hear Brian Cashman say there's more work to be done, and I believe that they can't stop here. They literally don't have a couple positions. They need to keep going. But you heard it here first. Corbin Burns to the Chicago Cubs.
Love it. Speaking of the Cubs, how about this for a segue? Their rival, the St. Louis Cardinals, employ a third baseman by the name of Nolan Arenado.
Nailed it.
Who recently declared that he was not interested,
running out of space for this headline,
in a trade to the Houston Astros.
There it is. I'm a little surprised. Are you?
Yes and no.
Talk to me.
Is it just me? I mean, I have no way of really knowing this, so this is purely speculation.
Oh, I think I know where you're going.
I don't think you do.
I think I do.
I think you don't. Is it just me, or does Nolan Arenado seem like a slightly spiteful guy? And I don't know what potential beef he would have with Houston, but he just seems like a guy to me that would get easily swept up in the reputation that the Astros have created for themselves over the years and say,
this is exactly where I thought you were going to go.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I took a roundabout way of getting there. He just doesn't have any interest in partaking.
Yeah.
Even though we all
exactly
know that it's right. This is not the Astros team, obviously, of their scandal years. We understand that, but there's still a light breeze, a light air of that still that exists, if you will.
Well, it's not going to go away until this generation of players moves on. Eventually it'll go, but while these guys that
or
were
at the
in
very
league.
least Altuve,
Right.
until he's gone at least.
Well, I mean, I'm not even saying, I'm saying even like the opponents as well. You know what I mean? And look, like I'm judging a book by its cover here, but like you have a guy that's named after a baseball legend. He grows up in California. For all I know, he's maybe still a little bit of a Dodger fan. He seems like he really understands and knows baseball history really well. And I get that feeling that, yeah, what they did potentially rubbed him the wrong way. Because, I mean, let's face it, like, if I'm in his shoes, why would you turn down Houston? Right? Like, overall, when you kind of take a step back and look at the organization, like, that's a fan base that loves everybody on that field. Talking about an organization that wins. Talking about a current roster that is still in really good shape to keep going. I don't know. Did we get details on whether this was before or after the Cubs trade to get Isaac Paredes?
This was yesterday, I think.
So it's not just that it came out that he declined it. It was literally declined yesterday.
Oh, that I don't know. I never know like the timetable of how these things play out.
I'd have
in terms
to
of how
assume
they
it was before.
get the reports out. Yeah.
What are the Cubs doing? Or, I mean, excuse me, what are the Astros doing trying to get Paredes and Nolan? I feel like the third base hole is kind of all done. I don't know how they're viewing Isaac Paredes, but I don't know. Whatever.
I think he's trying to hold out hope for the Dodgers ultimately. Or honestly, maybe he wants to come to Boston. I don't know.
I see that. Like, I really can see that.
I can see it too. Maybe
I think there's a lot of people that can see it.
Maybe he's holding out for this monster. I don't know. I just don't know what his, we talk about guys' motivations all the time. Like, what is it that's driving Nolan Arenado to make?
But again, like, if you talk about a guy that like loves baseball history and is, born and raised with baseball through his veins, like, there's an obvious attraction to winding down your career in a legendary ballpark in Fenway. You know what I mean? Like, that's got to be like a bucket list kind of thing of like, if I had an opportunity to go play for that organization, I would say yes. And maybe that's in the back of his mind. Same with the Dodgers.
But if he ends up there, you gotta move Devers to the DH. I don't want to see Devers at first base. I just don't.
I don't know why everyone suddenly believes that first base is such an easy position to play. This isn't 25 years ago. You don't hide people there. Like, that's an important position.
And that's why what Harper did was so impressive. He's just like, yeah, I'll
Right.
play first base. And then he was like making very athletic plays over there. And I'm like,
Yep.
you just don't see this every day.
Yep.
Devers, I don't see that happening because he struggles to make routine plays at third base.
Yep.
So we're going to then put him at a position that involves him on every play.
I don't get it. He's got a DH.
Makes no sense to me. But anyway, that's
Can
the
you
latest.
see anywhere else with Nolan? Like, just out of... It just feels like those two places, doesn't it? Feels like Boston or LA.
Yeah, but didn't the Dodgers didn't they come out and say that they're out on that?
I don't believe anything they say. Not a word. Not a word. What about Seattle?
Dodgers said they were out on somebody. Couldn't have been Bregman, right? Or maybe they were never in on Bregman.
I don't know. Yeah, whatever.
Sorry, who are you asking about?
Anywhere else for Nolan?
No. I mean, I guess if you're looking at the X's and O's, wouldn't New York make sense? The Yankees.
The Yankees keep coming out saying they're out on that. I don't know why. I mean, I'd be down. I'm not going to sit here and act like whatever team gets Nolan Arenado is going to be getting, a Rockies version of a complete stud, both sides of the ball. Like I don't think the defense is going anywhere. I don't know. It's a weird thing when the pop starts to go, and he doesn't really necessarily have. He's got a lot of swing and miss in him too, and we've seen that the last few years. So it's a weird combination, and maybe he does learn to come out and play first base. I think I've heard those rumors as well. But even then, it's like, dude, what do you bring into the table offensively? Is what has been happening in St. Louis a fluke, or are you just like, are you needing a change of scenery? Like, what is that?
No,
but if that's the case, wouldn't you just rather trade for Paul Goldschmidt? Like somebody who's born and raised at first base that arguably has the same, if not a little bit of a better stick right now? That'd be the route I go. Less commitment, less money.
Yeah, but that defense that Nolan provides you is
Sure.
hard to dispute.
Sure is.
And yeah, I mean he's willing to play first. But yeah, I don't see that. And I even more so don't see Bregman in New York. Like why that's even being entertained as a possibility that you just talk about two sides that don't mix.
I feel like monetarily that kind of went out the window when Bellinger happened. But I do think that there was like a weird Yankee, not a weird, I mean, very obvious Yankee Astro tax, if you will, when they were talking Kyle Tucker trades. Like, I think that the Yankees and Astros just can't get on the same page with stuff. And I think that tells you, potentially what the Yankees think and feel about certain names. I just, again, until some of these opponents that suffered from the scandal are out of the game, this is still a part of the equation. And Aaron Judge is the captain of that team and the leader in that clubhouse. Pretty sure 2019 still bugs them. It'd be weird. It'd be weird for fans too.
Sure would. Speaking of weird situations, Sammy Sosa apparently back in the good graces of the Chicago Cubs. Released in a we're gonna call this an apology. Sure. Was he direct as he could have been? Probably not. But apparently this is all that Cubs chairman Tom Ricketts wanted, was just an acknowledgement of what had happened. Sosa in his statement said, "I left it all on the field for the Cubs and Cubs fans because I wanted to win and make the fans happy. I love to see the fans at Wrigley and in the right field bleachers every home game. I understand why some players in my era don't always get the recognition that our states deserve. There were times I did whatever I could to recover from injuries in an effort to keep my strength up to perform over 162 games. I never broke any laws, but in hindsight, I made mistakes and I apologize. We accomplished great things as a team. I worked extremely hard in the batting cage to become a great hitter. Cubs fans are the best in the world, and I hope that fans, the Cubs, and I can all come together again and move forward. We can't change the past, but the future is bright. In my heart, I've always been a Cubs, and I can't wait to see Cubs fans again. Sincerely, Sammy Sosa." Ricketts comes out I know.
Dancing. Let's dance around some stuff
No
there.
kidding. And then Ricketts, like I said, Ricketts came out and said,
Ricketts.
We appreciate Sammy releasing his statement and for reaching out. No one played harder or wanted to win more. Nobody's perfect, but we never doubted his passion for the game and the Cubs. It's an understatement to say that Sammy's a fan favorite. We plan on inviting him to the 2025 Cubs convention. And while at a short notice, we hope that he can attend. We are ready to move forward together. So,
while it's short notice. So this wasn't happening without an apology.
Yeah, no, not just the invite to the Cubs thing, but just like being a part of the Cubs organization as a whole. Like that, it wasn't happening until he, at the very least, acknowledged his, we'll call it wrongdoing.
Yeah.
I mean, like you said, dancing is putting it nicely, I guess, but
yeah,
no mention of the word steroids.
Or cork.
No mention of the word cork. No mention of the word cheating. No mention of the phrase cheating the game or anything. And I get that they weren't testing
based on
and
the
all
typos, I feel like it was him.
Oh yeah, no, definitely.
I don't think
him.
that was Chat GPT, you know?
Definitely him. No doubt about that. But just
lifesaver, by the way. Chat GPT.
Don't encourage that.
Dude, responding to emails with that puppy.
Don't encourage that. No, we don't.
Oh yeah.
We're not pushing AI. Don't get ahead. Don't be promoting that. We're not doing that here.
Big time. I saw a tweet from, I think it was Buster Olney. Can't remember what it exactly said. I'm paraphrasing here. Basically said that if Sammy Sosa is apologizing, then the Cubs need to come out with an apology as well, because they were cashing checks while he was cheating, or not cheating, allegedly cheating. We all know. But either way, like the Cubs, you know, yeah. But the Cubs, I mean, look, they sat there and enjoyed the profits rolling through.
No doubt. No doubt.
Like it's a little contradicting. It's a little, what's the word? What is the word?
I don't know. What are we trying to figure out here? A little,
like when you're guilty, but you're like shaming that other.
pot
Like you're
calling
guilty of
kettle
it
black.
too. Yeah. But there's like a word for it, right?
I don't know.
I don't know. Bad time of year to check the vocab. Yeah. So it's all weird, man. I don't know. I don't want to go too deep into this, but I do think that this is a chapter of baseball. This is a chapter of our game. And this is a chapter that has, whether you're for it or against it, has had a ripple effect and is affecting what our game is today. So the whole argument of the Hall of Fame being a baseball museum and recognizing all eras of baseball, this is an era. And it's difficult to watch MLB enjoy the riches when it happened and then act like it never happened a few decades later. And it's very odd. And I think that's what upsets fans. Is that like you're not even, you swept it under the rug. And it's still very much an elephant in the room for anybody old enough to remember. in many ways, I'm not going to sit here and say it saved our game. And there are people that make that argument. But it brought eyes. It brought attention. It sold. It made money.
I mean, there was certainly a large enough swell of people that would say that the steroid chapter of our game did save baseball, and I wouldn't disagree with
Can't
that.
say it didn't.
Yeah,
You know, I don't think I'll say that it saved it, but I'm not going to sit here and say it didn't. It is, our game is where it's at this point because of what's happened in the past. So, you know, I think a lot of these guys are getting older and a little bit softer, and maybe they're more apologetic. Maybe they're understanding of, you know, their wrongdoing. Maybe there's different ways around it, and you take the Alex Rodriguez route, and you just try to smile your way through this and be as in everyone's face as humanly possible, or you hide in the shadows like at Bonds and Sosa and McGuire, and it's very odd of what our game does. And I think that tweet kind of hits the nail on the head that, like, the Cubs probably were aware of what happened and they enjoyed everything that came from it. So to chastise or ostracize a figure in our sports history is just a little silly. So welcome back, I guess. Welcome back to our game. And this conversation's never... Dang, been holding that the whole episode.
Really dropped the ball there.
Sure did. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. I'm all done. It took you way too long to find that.
I was looking for it. It's all right.
You suck.
The soundboard took me to like a blank page. I didn't even realize that I could browse a blank page with no sound effects on here, but it's in play.
Speaking of blank page, I don't know. I was just trying to find a segue for you. Yeah.
Whose quote was this? Who said it? Whether it tastes like milk, whether it tastes like wine, we have to find out. Who said it? Was it Kyle or Nate? 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 Whose quote was this?
The quote, apparently this guy married his gym teacher in high school, or from high school, not in high school. That had been weird. Married his gym teacher from high school. Did you know this? That's the quote.
That's insane. Give me KC and give me a little baseball history. That's my guess. That's the context.
That quote is from yours truly. Episode 41, titled 25 Best Players Under 25. That was January 31st, 2019.
Ooh, that's like 4 months into this.
Yeah, that was in the early stages, episode 41. I don't know if that was baseball history or if
I
it
hope
was
it's history.
Hold on. No, I think that was
What are you gonna Google? Baseball player married his gym teacher?
no, I know who it was because I said
do?
it. I know, yeah, it was Jared Saltalamacchia. But I'm trying to remember.
What?
Yes, dude. It was Jared. I know it was Jared Saltalamacchia. Okay, yeah. So he
Let me hit
finished.
that Wikipedia real quick.
He finished in 2018 with Detroit at age 33. So this must have been. He must have been. I think he announced his retirement probably.
He's only 39.
Yeah, Jared Saltalamacchia married his gym teacher from high school. Yeah, sure enough. He announced his retirement on January 28th, 2019.
She's 53. I got 4 kids. Hey. Who am I to judge? You know what I mean?
Shit. Yeah, so that was we would have been talking some Jared Saltalamacchia talk post retirement announcement. So there you go.
Wow.
Yeah, if you weren't around for episode, what did I say? Episode
41. Please don't go back and listen to that.
No, please don't go back and listen to that. If you weren't around for episode 41, where we talked about this wild story that probably not a lot of people knew, you're welcome. Brought that back to light.
You are welcome.
Speaking of episodes, we can kind of close it with some little spicy news. Well, it's not really spicy news. It's very predictable. It's coming down the pipe here.
It's just math.
It's
Yeah.
just basic math, really. Episode 500 is 2 away, and we've got some plans in the works. We'll see what ends up happening. But I have addressed a want, some would call it even a need, that people have been clamoring for some time. That's in the works, and I think we're gonna have it. I'm not even gonna finish that sentence. I think I'll say this. I think we're gonna have it in the new year, is what I'll say.
Oh. I know what you're talking about. It's good stuff.
I think we're going to have it in the new year as sort of a way to celebrate, because we went through our sort of content calendar, and I think, did we agree that we're doing 500 on the other side? We're doing 490
more.
We're doing 499. Yeah, we're doing 499 right before Christmas, and then that's when we're taking our break. No,
is that what we're doing?
Yeah, and I think we're kicking off. Yeah, I think that's what we talked about. Kicking off
right.
next year with 500.
I can't keep it straight anymore.
So that's the plan for that.
Yeah, well, keep an eye out on the stories, right? Like,
yeah.
I think are you gonna get the voicemail going?
Yeah, I think I might. I think I'm gonna try to re-up the voicemail a little bit, and I'm gonna
the voicemail.
I'm gonna keep an eye out on IG. Well, I guess any of the platforms, but I'm gonna be opening it up to you guys, the listeners, the watchers, the chasers. And give you guys a chance to share your. I mean, because like I said, we've been going on nearly 500 episodes now. Give you guys a chance to share some thoughts, share some memories, share some of your favorite moments from the show.
Yeah, we got some cool stuff planned too. Yeah, we're gonna have a little fun on that episode.
Yeah, so we'll see.
I was texting Rye Guy about it today.
Oh, were you?
Yeah, I was like, "Hey, 500 is coming up." He's like, "Oh, really?" And I was like, "Yeah, you coming?" He's like, "I'll make it work. Just let me know when."
Yeah, we'll see.
So yeah, I was listening to his Buck Showalter interview. It's a good episode. Ryan Ripken, off the script with Rip is the name of his pod.
Off script with Rip.
Off script with Rip.
But he also does the Ryan Ripken show, which
he does. He's got a lot going on. But that was a good episode. If you haven't given that a listen, or if you don't know what we're talking about, this is Ryan Ripken, Prince of Baltimore. Hello,
Prince of Baltimore, friend.
And he's just texting us, like,
friend of the program.
Us peasants out here.
Hey, quick little plug though. Speaking of friend of the program, shout out Bobby Witt for
What's the shout out
finally
for?
He got married.
All right.
Did you not see
yeah. No.
With Whataburger? I don't know if it's like an official thing, but
He's got a little thing going with Whataburger.
oh yeah, he's
This guy just keeps getting better.
partnered with Whataburger, but I think they have again, I don't know if it's like an official meal or anything, but he
Like a
he
Whit
and his
burger?
wife, yeah, it was a Whataburger. And he and his wife did a little photo shoot at Whataburger, and it's just
Stop tier.
that's top tier.
That's good stuff.
Friend of
That's
the
good
friend of the
stuff.
pod, Bobby Witt. Shout
That
out.
episode you can go back and listen to. Was that
Go back and listen to
2020?
one.
2021?
No, that was probably 2019. That was early. Oh, that was like episode 70 something, I think. I don't know.
That far back.
Yeah. We
Maybe
locked
not.
we locked Bobby.
Maybe not.
We locked Bobby Witt down early. That's when
It was right after the draft.
Yeah, we've talked about this before, but that's when young Bobby was still
No facial hair.
no facial hair,
No
but
mullet.
he was nervous, man. He was this young kid is still in high school. But anyway, all that to say, episode 500 coming up. Keep an eye out for some exciting things we got coming down the pipe. But other than that, that's all I got. Let's get some.
We'll see everybody again before Christmas, right?
Yeah, we'll see everybody for $4.99 before Christmas, probably Monday. Let's get some final moves in right before Christmas, huh?
Yeah.
And then we can chill until the new year. But maybe just like one or two
moves.
One or two before Christmas, and then we can just bang it until 2025. But
No offense, Max Kepler to the Phillies doesn't count.
1 year deal to the Phillies. Shout out Max Kepler. It's really all I got on that, but that's really all I got in general. So let's call it and get out of here.
Don't go chasing curveballs.
I love y'all, and as always, looking forward to talking more baseball with you guys soon. Until next time, stay filthy.